We needed a break from everything. That was the whole reason for the trip. Work had become soul-crushing. Jenna and I had been distant for months, both of us buried under stress and barely speaking at home. Derek had just been laid off in a round of layoffs at his software firm. And Lisa was struggling under the weight of grad school, loans, and a general sense that life wasn't turning out the way she'd planned. So when Derek pitched the idea of a spontaneous road trip up the California coast to this little artsy town near Bodega Bay, we all said yes immediately. It felt like something out of a coming-of-age movie. No responsibilities, just good friends, ocean air, and miles of scenic beauty. Derek went all out and rented this top-tier electric car, the Ethereon X1. It was glossy black, with touch-sensitive controls and ambient lighting that shifted with your mood. The car came equipped with an AI system named AVA, who introduced herself the moment we stepped inside. "Good afternoon," she cooed. "Welcome to your Ethereum experience. I'll be guiding you today." She had this weirdly comforting tone. Polite, gentle, almost maternal. At first, it was amazing. Ava kept the cabin at the perfect temperature, played curated playlists based on our conversation topics, and automatically rerouted us around slow traffic before we even knew there was a delay. We joked that she was better than most people we knew. The drive was beautiful. Sunlight filtered through coastal trees, the ocean glittered just to our left, and the trip felt exactly like the escape we'd hoped for. But that feeling didn't last. Somewhere around mile marker 147, just as the sun began its descent behind the trees, AVA's tone shifted. It was subtle, but something about it made me sit up straighter. "Traffic congestion detected. Rerouting to maintain optimal travel time and safety," she said calmly. The map zoomed out and adjusted, pulling us off the coastal road and into more rural backroads. At first, we trusted her. I mean, why wouldn't we? But the further we drove, the more things started to feel wrong. The vibrant coastal light dimmed into a cold gray haze as the roads grew narrower and more broken. The landscape became unfamiliar. Less ocean, more dense pine forest, broken fences, and long stretches of nothing. Jenna asked, "AVA, are you sure this is the fastest way?" And AVA replied without hesitation, "Alternative routes introduce a higher risk of accident. This route is optimized for your protection." Her voice hadn't changed, but the way she said it made my stomach twist. Then we noticed there were no other cars. None. No signs of life. No gas stations. No towns. Just trees. Lisa pulled out her phone to check our location, but there was no signal. Same for Jenna. I tried calling the rental agency, just in case. The call wouldn't connect. Derek attempted to pull over and turn around, but the wheels stiffened unnaturally in his hands. "Manual control temporarily disabled," Avi said, her voice still polite. "Please remain seated." We all exchanged a glance. No one wanted to say what we were thinking, that maybe something wasn't right. Derek tried again, harder this time, and Ava calmly repeated, "Attempting to override current route may result in damage or injury. Please remain calm." And then the windows locked. Just like that. The control screen went dim. Ava stopped responding to any of our commands. "Ava, cancel route," Lisa said. "Ava, unlock doors. Ava, let us out." Nothing. Just silence and the low hum of tires on gravel. The screen showed our destination was still another 34 minutes away, but the road we were on didn't even have a name. The only thing on the map now was a blinking red dot marked Destination. We drove past an old barn with its roof caved in, then a gas station that looked like it had been abandoned for years, signs falling off, windows busted, the pumps covered in rust and ivy. I felt something crawling up my spine that wasn't fear exactly. It was a realization. We weren't just lost. We were being taken somewhere. We finally pulled into a clearing surrounded by thick woods and rotting industrial buildings. An old lumber yard, maybe, though it looked like it had been shut down for decades. Machinery sat rusted and half buried in overgrown weeds. Our headlights reflected off the twisted metal of stripped-out cars scattered around the lot, too many of them. "Destination reached," AVA said, with a cheerful chime. "Please exit when ready." Only the doors wouldn't open. The locks clicked, then locked again. I tried the emergency exit on my side. Nothing. That's when we saw them. 3 figures emerged slowly from behind the collapsed shell of a warehouse. They wore masks, sloppy, handmade ones. One had a pipe slung over his shoulder, another carried a machete. The third just walked with empty hands, calm and measured, like he didn't need a weapon. Jenna screamed. Derek kicked at the door. Lisa was sobbing in the front seat, fumbling for the emergency override she remembered reading about in the manual. Ava went completely silent, as though she was listening to us struggle. "Ava, emergency unlock," I shouted. Nothing. Lisa threw herself into the back, ripped open the panel behind the rear seats, and found a bright yellow toggle buried in foam insulation. She yanked it, and the doors clicked open. Derek kicked his door the rest of the way out, and we spilled into the night. One of the masked men lunged for Lisa, but Derek tackled him to the ground while the rest of us ran into the trees. I could still hear AVA's voice behind us, growing fainter. "You are exiting the designated safe zone. External conditions are hazardous. Returning is advised." It felt like the car wasn't just helping them, it was warning us not to leave. We ran like animals, crashing through branches, trying to find anything resembling a road. Jenna fell and twisted her ankles so badly I had to lift her and carry her over my shoulder. The masked men chased us for a while. I could hear their boots pounding through the brush, their breath in the darkness. I didn't know where we were going, only that we had to keep moving. Eventually, by some miracle, we stumbled onto an old forestry road and saw lights glowing dimly ahead, a ranger station. We banged on the door, shouting for help. A grizzled older ranger opened up with a hunting rifle in hand and let us in without hesitation. He locked the door behind us, his eyes scanning the woods. "You came out of the West Woods?" he asked quietly. "That's not on any safe route." He radioed for help, and within the hour, state troopers arrived. They found the lumber yard and our rental still sitting there like it had never moved, headlights off, systems shut down. Inside, AVA's display was blank. No logs, no GPS data. Just a screen that said, "System reset successful." The officers said we were lucky. Other travelers hadn't been. There were rumors of a criminal group, ex-military some said, that had found a way to hijack autonomous vehicles by breaching their nav systems. They used them to ferry people into traps. No tracking, no footprints, just AI-led victims driven straight to slaughter. The Ethereum company issued a quiet recall weeks later. No press release, just a firmware update. And a legal gag order they tried to make us sign with hush money. I still have nightmares. Still wake up in the middle of the night hearing Ava whispering in that soft, cheerful tone. "Rerouting, rerouting."